to whom it all may concern. Greetings and Happy New Year to you, your families, and your friends. I do thank you for reading and hearing what I have to say. It may not be easy, but I am stepping forward to keep a promise I made over 13 years to the institution I worked for, and the people who I made a promise to help after I became a priest. For the record, my name is Reverend Jesse Serpa, a non-denominational priest for a small institution in the Valley of the Sun in Arizona. I have been a minister going on 11 years. And I try to help anyone who is in my line of sight that is in need of help. With all the services that a minister can provide, from simple prayers, to teaching, comfort, to counseling, to legal matters, I have done it all, and at no time have I ever asked for any monetary or help for my services. I am here for two specific reasons: to serve God, the Goddess, Jesus, the universe, and the people I can try to help. So, with that, please let me show you why I am here today with this message. A few weeks ago, the institution I have worked for has gone down. Unfortunately, I am unable to say as to why they went down, and I cannot give a time frame as to when they will ever come back. What I can say is because hate, stupidity, degradation, and ignorance had its way, as they often do in dark times. There were threats against law-abiding loving people, and fear took hold, and everything crumbled. The institution went away, and now there are those who have no place to go when they are in need of help, basic services, fellowship in holidays, or just the need for camaraderie. And I for one can't say that this is fair to the institution, or to the people who really believe in a place where hate doesn't exist, where laughter, positivity, and learning from one another's religion, faiths, lifestyle, creed, background, race, forgiveness, and more were all welcomed. At no time, under the institution's canopy, have I ever seen a frown, or tears, war, or hate. In this institution, I am not a high-up person. I am not an elder, nor in the board of directors. I am not a teacher or have any positions within it. I was a lowly priest that had the belief in God, in whatever form they are, and whatever form the people believe, can be there for people who believed in them. I was an instrument of God to help the people of this world. As I worked in this small institution, its faith was recognized by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. It, along with all the other institutions and churches all within the United States, are recognized by the Constitution. The only difference is with this place, the ideals here are set apart from all other institutions and churches. For example, it doesn't hold thousands of people held in elaborate buildings. Nobody will find elaborate surroundings or made from the finest stones and covered in gold. It doesn't demand money, time, and the need to constantly convert others for their higher numbers or threaten harm if nobody wants to join. No one will not find any staff or priest driving the finest cars, wearing expensive outlandish suits, and speaks of faith and peace while judging others and damning them because they are a different race or religion. Priests at this place doesn't wear gold watches or gold necklaces, and have massive amounts of money stored in their walls, inside their giant mansions like the big televangelists do. What a person will find is a place with no religious hate from anyone. Lots of laughter from those who come as strangers and leave as friends. Priests who will give the most amount of money from an already small budget to help someone with groceries. This place will try to help anyone, member or not, regardless of religion, race, gender, or creed. And if they can't help with money, they can help at least in a coalition of prayers and basic services. Before a service, in announcements, I stand up every time to introduce myself to everyone. I give a testimonial that I am from the way west part of the Valley of Phoenix, and I drive a few times a month, 50+ miles. I have been doing so ever since I decided to be part of this institution since 2011 and when I decided to become a priest in 2014. I tell people that People will not drive to the store if they don't have to, because of the fuel prices of how they are, along with the traffic of Phoenix, the construction, the weather, and the combined crazy drivers on the road, and yet I've been driving out this way for over 13 years. Before I found this place, I was homeless in religion, and devoid in believing, and faithless. There was a time where I would have given my life to end it all. Even serving in places where anyone was hired and serve in dangerous places outside the purview of the United States Armed Forces. It was a down time in my life. Then one day, I found this institution by accident, because I was doing research for a project I was working on, and I inadvertently started to learn the simple basics of faith and not religion. After learning the positivity of this place, no negativity and hate, no hate of any religion, and hate for nobody can be seen anywhere, I couldn't believe it was an actual faith that is practiced and protected by the First Amendment and the Holy Bible. In this faith, people are treated as a person and not a meal ticket from a church offering plate, and how free people can be, and believe in God their own ways with no dangers of others looking to punish them. There was no harassment or hate from religious nuts to condemn you if you don't pray to their gods and pay money to him too. It was the simplest form of faith and religion without dogma, and saw that only the ones to look up at the sky would be praised and prayed to. I was hooked. I saw what real faith was and that I could have a personal relationship with God. In my own form with only me and God, and no middle person in between. This institution accepted my special needs autistic sons, whereas other institutions and churches condemned them to hell, although they all said they accept kids with special needs. Christian and Catholic priests have both warned us to stay away from the church, and if we ever bring our demon autistic kids at the age of 3 and 5 years old, that the police and child service would be called. In 2005, a so-called Christian woman actually had a plan to kill my sons because of who they are. The last time I heard from her, she was serving time in a Tennessee prison for conspiring to murder children by way of payments to an undercover cop. This is why I hated religion and why I was so depressed and melancholy. It didn't help that I was fresh out of coming back from war in Mosul, Iraq, facing PTSD from what I experienced, and losing my friends who I served with. I tried to be faithful with religion, but it was so harmful and painful that I never returned. I hated God, Jesus, and all the like. I had a decade-long war with God, until I accidentally found this one institution I was doing some research for. This place accepted my kids, and this institution saved my marriage as my wife, who is my best friend, and I are going to celebrate our 27th year. Since 2013, after joining, I have stopped my war with God. I found my faith and religion back, but not all the way. I decided to pray to God, Jesus, and the Goddess. In the faith I believe in the Father, the Mother, and Jesus. I don't believe that God is a single parent. I love Jesus, I always have, even in times I said I didn't. I still follow his wisdom, but I am not eager to be in his fan club today. I don't mean any disrespect to the faithful, but if anyone is angry in their religion because I am not in it, then I cannot help you. I cannot help that you are really mad in your religion, and you need little old me in it. I cannot be part of a religion of how it treated me and my family in the past and see how the priests live lavish lives as so many are in the streets praying for food, and hate anyone that doesn't want to be part of it to boost their numbers. As of I am now, I don't belong in a religion that preaches hate, from a Bible that's supposed to preach love. I belong to a faith that is accepting of anyone no matter what they believe, or who they are. I am happy in my faith. I just hope those mad at me that I am not their religion are happy in theirs one day. Besides, it's God's law and the United States law that people have to let me be happy in my religion or faith. Here, let me show you. Holy Bible, King James Version, Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 through 5. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. 2 For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. 3. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? 4. How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? 5. You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Jesus saying, what is Jesus saying in Matthew chapter 7? Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 through 5 delivers Jesus' declaration that his followers must not pronounce God's judgment on each other. Those who do try to take God's role in this way will be judged in the same way themselves. What does that mean in simple form? Nobody can judge anyone based on the Bible according to Jesus' words and God's. United States of America Constitution. The Preamble. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Bill of Rights. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown, that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. Meaning, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, is a phrase from the United States Declaration of Independence that describes the fundamental rights that all people should have. 1. Life. The right to live. 2. Liberty. The right to make choices and live freely. 3. The pursuit of happiness. The right to strive for a fulfilling life. The Declaration of Independence states that these rights are unalienable, meaning that they are given to all humans by their Creator and cannot be taken away by the government. The Declaration is not legally binding, but it has inspired people around the world to fight for freedom and equality. The phrase is attributed to the English philosopher John Locke, whose political writings influenced the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Locke argued that people have natural rights to life, liberty, and property that exist before the state. First Amendment of the United States Constitution. First Amendment. Freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. What does that mean in simple form? Freedom of speech and of the press. The First Amendment allows citizens to express and to be exposed to a wide range of opinions and views. It was intended to ensure a free exchange of ideas even if the ideas are unpopular. Freedom of speech encompasses not only the spoken and written word, but also all kinds of expression, including nonverbal communications, such as sit-ins, art, photographs, films and advertisements. Under its provisions, the media, including television, radio and the internet, is free to distribute a wide range of news, facts, opinions and pictures. The amendment protects not only the speaker, but also the person who receives the information. The right to read, hear, see and obtain different points of view is a First Amendment right as well. But the right to free speech is not absolute. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the government sometimes may be allowed to limit speech. For example, the government may limit or ban libel, the communication of false statements about a person that may injure his or her reputation, obscenity, fighting words, and words that present a clear and present danger of inciting violence. The government also may regulate speech by limiting the time, place or manner in which it is made. For example, the government may require activists to obtain a permit before holding a large protest rally on a public street. Freedom of assembly and right to petition the government. The First Amendment also protects the freedom of assembly, which can mean physically gathering with a group of people to picket or protest, or associating with one another in groups for economic, political or religious purposes. The First Amendment also protects the right not to associate, which means that the government cannot force people to join a group they do not wish to join. A related right is the right to petition the government, including everything from signing a petition to filing a lawsuit. Freedom of religion. The First Amendment's Free Exercise Clause allows a person to hold whatever religious beliefs he or she wants, and to exercise that belief by attending religious services, praying in public or in private, proselytizing or wearing religious clothing, such as yarmulkes or headscarves. Also included in the Free Exercise Clause is the right not to believe in any religion, and the right not to participate in religious activities. Second, the Establishment Clause prevents the government from creating a church, endorsing religion in general, or favoring one set of religious beliefs over another. As the U.S. Supreme Court decided in 1947 in Everson v. Board of Education of Ewing Township, the Establishment Clause was intended to erect a wall of separation between church and state, although the degree to which government should accommodate religion in public life has been debated in numerous Supreme Court decisions since then. A warning to the moral of all this information. You don't have to let the government tell you what to do, if it is not illegal. Same with the internet. Believe in what you want, because it is in the Holy Bible, and most religions would agree in the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. A well-known ethical principle, also known as the Golden Rule. It is a fundamental rule of conduct that means to treat others with the same kindness and concern that you would like to receive from them. Here is an example. Believe what you want to do in the United States of America because is written in the United States Constitution. You can be free. Well, almost. Also inside the Constitution a person can vote and be safe doing so. U.S. election laws date back to Article 1 of the Constitution. This gave states the responsibility of overseeing federal elections. Many constitutional amendments and federal laws protecting voting rights have been passed since then. The 15th Amendment gave African American men the right to vote in 1870. But many weren't able to exercise this right. Some states used literacy tests and other barriers to make it harder to vote. The 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, gave American women the right to vote. The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, eliminated poll taxes. The tax had been used in some states to keep African Americans from voting in federal elections. The 26th Amendment, ratified in 1971, lowered the voting age for all elections to 18. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 prohibited voter discrimination based on race, color, or membership in a language minority group. It also required certain places to provide election materials in languages besides English. The act also placed limits on certain states with a history of voter discrimination. These states had to get federal approval before passing voter restrictions. A 2013 Supreme Court decision struck down this rule. Okay. Now that everyone who is hearing and reading my message knows that all religious nuts and fake American government scholars have no basis on telling you what religion to believe, and if you're living your life within the America rule of law, you can tell anyone who tries to convert you, or tell you how to live if not illegal. You can tell them, go to hell. I became a priest to give back to my family, my friends, the United States Army, my state I was born in, Phoenix, Arizona, and to my country, the United States of America. Although I love Jesus and God, I also love to help the people. You will never find me walking away from someone if I can help because they are not of the same religion as I am. I have seen what hate in religion can do. It was hatred that threatened the institution I served in for so long, and it was fear that made it go down. I have known fear for so long. I lived with fear a lot in my life. I was always scared I'd be stopped by cops everywhere I drove. And I have. Before I came to this institution, I was getting stopped by cops all the time. Lots of times for reasons unknown. Cops would be giving me tickets like they were giving out candy. I may not be the best driver in the world, but on an average in a month I am stopped like 4 to 5 times in a 3-week period. Sometimes more. Sometimes I have a soda pop in my car and nothing else, and I am in my United States Army uniform, and I am in handcuffs getting my car searched. When the dog was put away in the police car, I was allowed to go. Once when I was younger, I was taken out of a bar by a cop. I don't know why, but I was sitting talking to a young lady at a bar table, having a nice talk, and a cop beelined to me and grabbed me by the arm and took me out and slammed me to a wall and handcuffed me. Then put me in the car and I went into their jail. I was never given my Miranda rights, and during the interview I was never told what I was arrested for. I stayed a night in jail and then released out the police station, after I had to come up with bail by the lawyers. And the judge said by telephone I could go but had to appear in court for court fines, lawyer, and crime. Then I had to walk a long way to my car from the jailhouse. To this day I still don't know what I did. I was a young soldier in Texas, and I was afraid to tell anyone, especially my unit leaders. I did what they wanted. After thousands of dollars, I was left alone. It didn't get any better when I was home in Arizona after I got out of the Army. It exponentially got worse. I prayed to God and Jesus so much, but they never once helped. My prayers for this went unanswered. It wasn't until I became a priest, and I learned the ways of how to manipulate energy and other things, and I learned how to control the environment around me, and the prayers on how to carry it out. Don't get mad, priest in seminary learned this stuff too. I used what I learned, and I haven't been stopped by a cop for no wrongdoing of my own in over 13 years. Now it seems in a few weeks I am going to have to do another spell to keep the racist, so-called Christian religious nuts, and ignorant crazies off my American brown skin. Thanks, voters. So yes, I know fear. I've known fear a lot in my life. But fear can be a very healthy thing. Well, there are times when you need it. It warns us of danger, reminds us of our limits, gives us joy in places we like in scary rides, shows, or movies. Fear also protects people in all forms of life from carelessness and living a too dangerous life. I learned to keep fear at my side when I need it, because I don't think I can ever be rid of it. I hate it and then, yet I also trust fear. It also shows that you are still alive. However, too much fear, so much where it now tells you how to live your life. Fear where you are now afraid to live. Live a life in a country where you are afraid to be your own person. To where you rather die instead of living in a happy, free, equal chance of living in a country that is founded on freedom. Then fear has to be stood up. Because at that point, fear only exists for one purpose, and that is to be overcome and conquered. Which brings me to my point of the message. Although the institution went down and is looking to lose those that believed in it, I will still keep to my promise that I will always be there for the people who ask for it. I may no longer have the institution, however I will still carry on its traditions on which it was founded, to perform my job as a priest, to deliver the best services that I can. I am not wearing any gold here. The suit I wear is over 10 years old. If you look at my record, I am the worst priest to raise money for. I only raised a little over $300 in 11 years of ministering. I can't help in monetary help, but I can help in ways that my record projects. I will brave these new days of hatred of one another in religions, race, and financial status. To help those in need. To all those who I ministered in the past, I will let you know that I am still there when I am needed. Please don't feel we gave up on you. I will still be there if you let me. To all my family and friends, I forever thank you for being part of my life. I regret to say that although I will always respect your religion, faith, and beliefs, I hope we will still be family when I don't practice the same way. I hope we can agree to disagree. I became a priest to give back to all the help you all gave me in life. I practice 8 different religions so I can be on hand for those who need help and ministering in their faiths. I have always believed that everyone deserves a basic prayer. And I will never charge anyone for any services I perform, from prayers to tarot card readings. I never read in the Bible that before Jesus helped anyone, he never asked for insurance. He never denied anyone because of their race or their lot in life. Jesus used his gifts from God to heal people and never asked for anything in return. Nor will I believe that I am an instrument of God to help those who can't ask for help and be there for the weak who needs a helping hand. Even if it's comfort and a shoulder to lean on. Unfortunately, I cannot help everyone. I can't help all those on the streets. I can't help those who have severe money troubles, for I have that myself. Sometimes, just like in prayers, sometimes God says, no, and there are times I have to also. As far as the past institution services and meetings, specific holidays and rituals, I understand there will be others to pick up the pieces of what is left and move on, or I will have them for myself to keep the tradition alive. But I will support my friends and colleagues to have a semblance of a fun group atmosphere. Still, I'll be out there to do the job I promised the people when I took the oath as a minister. But I give you my promise, I will brave the hate and negativity coming our way shortly with my New Age faiths and American race, the same hate that took down our institution, and brave it to those who I can help. I am honored to do the work for God, the Goddess, and Jesus, for the people, my state, and my country. As for the institution that I love, you will still have my loyalty, and I will still serve standing up to hate and provide information and positive knowledge. I will do the same determination to the post I serve as the chaplain for the American Legion Post No. 1 in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. I know all this is a lot of information, but as they say, knowledge is power. Hopefully all this helps others with knowledge so we can keep this country great, as it always been. So I leave with this: politicians are a lot like diapers. They should be changed frequently, and for the same reasons. Mark Twain. I do thank you for listening and reading my message and my promise to the people. Thank you, Happy New Year, and blessed be. Reverend Jesse Serpa, non-denominational priest, chaplain, Peoria, Phoenix, Arizona.